us on a special journey as we meet the youth leaders of Asia and the Pacific on a quest for world peace. With nearly 4 billion people, Asia and the Pacific is the most populous region in the world, containing both the largest and smallest countries, along with some of the richest and poorest. This is a region that has some of the most beautiful travel destinations in the world and a countless number of success stories. It also represents a colourful mix of cultural, ethnic, political and religious diversity. And yet many of this region's people live with some of the most severe environmental and economic problems on the planet. 50% of the population lives on less than $2 a day, while millions are faced with security conflicts, health risks such as HIV/AIDS, and limited education opportunities. It was against this eclectic background that some of the region's most dynamic youth gathered in Bangkok, Thailand, for the first ever World Youth Peace Summit for Asia and the Pacific. Their mission was to exchange views and to come up with a roadmap for a future with fewer conflicts and increased understanding. The World Youth Peace Summit was conceived as a response to the growing need to provide youth with a forum to discuss and address pressing global and regional issues.
Peace is not only possible, but it is inevitable. We have to work for it, and it has to begin from ourselves.
The most important piece is justice. Without justice, I'm sure no peace.
Peace to me means a world where everybody feels included, everybody feels loved, and that conflicts are put aside.
The regional conference took place over 1 week and involved 200 youth delegates, along with 600 participants from Asia-Pacific countries, experts from various fields dedicated to peace building, trained facilitators and VIP guests, such as former Bionic Woman American actress Lindsay Wagner.
Bye-bye.
It needs to stick, and then it becomes society and community instead of an event. You know, I want to see this become so infectious that it becomes systemic in our way of being.
Bangkok was a first step conference to prepare for the World Youth Peace Summit, which will be held in Nairobi, Kenya in October this year. Young people joined hands and joined forces to debate, argue and formulate ideas and strategies for improving their troubled world. Brilliant young minds and talented youth with something to say and the energy to act. Artists like Indian actor Rahul Bose.
Just being here, understanding there are people who care enough to get you here, to get everyone here, and that everyone cares enough to come here and talk about this, and everyone cares enough to criticize and engage and discuss and parade their inadequacies and their strengths, is just it's a microcosm of the human spirit. What could be more inspiring than that?
And advisors like Tusha Gandhi, the great-grandson of legendary Indian freedom fighter Mahatma Gandhi.
Well, I think what I have been constantly trying to tell them is break with the past, because the past comes with a lot of baggage in it, but at the same time have your roots firmly planted in your philosophy and culture, because as many people, others also said, I would rather see tomorrow rooted in spirituality than in archaic religion. And I think that is what is the message that needs to go out over here, that unless we enable ourselves, empower ourselves with spiritual enlightenment, we are not going to be able to face the dilemmas that will come to us in the future.
Both Bangkok and the upcoming Nairobi summits are the initiative of the Millennium World Peace Summit, which was held at the United Nations headquarters in New York in August 2000. Addressing the world's population through a live telecast, around 2,000 revered religious leaders demonstrated their united commitment and determination to work together to eliminate the causes that perpetrate violence and lead to war.
Your Holinesses, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this summit of religious and spiritual leaders is without doubt one of the most inspiring gatherings ever held here.
It was the first time in history that the world's religious leaders had made a pledge to take concrete actions for the achievement of world peace. As a direct outcome of the Millennium World Peace Summit, the World Council of Religious Leaders was established as a permanent body in June 2002 at the United Nations Asia-Pacific headquarters in Bangkok. The man behind the ambitious peace project was World Youth Peace Summit Chairman Bawa Jain, who firmly believes that the future is already in the hands of the young and that they have to be involved in taking a leading role now.
The most important message is that we cannot entrust the leadership of the future just in the hands of the present-day leaders. The youth must have a stake in it. And our goal is to train those youth who will be in the position of leadership, that they can assume a role for themselves from now. And I hope that they will see a better future for themselves.
On the first night after arriving in Bangkok, young people from India to Indonesia, from New Zealand to Nepal, gathered together with religious leaders to take up the torch for peace. The older generation symbolically handed the flame to their future successors.
For me, peace means being yourself without being scared of any bombs falling from your head. Peace means that I remember Hitler said once, I want peace, but he meant, I want peace of this land and I want peace of that land. I don't want that kind of peace. I want all of us to live together, unite.
But where would this historic gathering lead to next? The World Youth Peace Summit for the Asia and Pacific region began in the halls of Buddhamontan in Thailand's Nakhon Pathom province, a commemorative site of the Lord Buddha that was constructed in order to mark 2,500 years of Buddhism. This was one of the first chances for young people to meet and mingle.
I think not only for young people, I think we speak for everybody, and we're just representing young people to speak to, let people know what we think. And we think peace is starting from inside of yourself.
Thailand's Princess Ubon presided. Religious leaders from across the region also attended, offering words of wisdom and the advice that war is only a last resort when all else fails.
Joining with the youth leaders to work. I am here for the second time in Bangkok, only to say one word. The 20th century was the century of the past. We died together. Jews and Arabs, Muslims and Christians, Pravoslavi and atheists, and all kinds of religion were involved in bloodshed. The 21st century is in your hand, the young leaderships. You can make the 21st century to be not a common bloodshed, but a common peace, friendship, and love. That's all.
The summit then moved here to the United Nations Asia-Pacific headquarters in Bangkok. It was a chance for young people to get together in working groups to discuss the road ahead, the road to peace. It was also an opportunity to share different spiritual, political and cultural views. It was also a great time to make new friends. Some of the youth delegates who gathered here were students, others hailed from business, government, education, law, medicine, science, religion, arts, environment, sports and media, to name a few. Young men and women from as far afield as Kazakhstan in Central Asia.
Like in every other country, youth is concerned about the peace, about the conflicts, about the terrorism at this moment, what the future holds for our generation, how stable it will be for us, for our children.
From Afghanistan.
I really think peace is not just for one man or for one country or for specific one tribe or ethnic. It is for all. So, same, if it is for all, so it is our duty to work all equally.
From Australia.
I'm from Australia, and I think peace means to me security, people being comfortable, awareness, people understanding other people, and people making an effort to make that work.
From Israel.
My name is Karen Bernstein. I am originally from Israel, and peace to me means a world where people can have access to different kinds of education, structures of politics and influence and governments where everybody is able to be on equal footing and have their children be on equal footing in all ethnicities, racial categories and nationalities.
From India.
The Youth Peace Summit aims to achieve an interlinkage, a comprehensive interlinkage between youths from different regions, and to sustain that linkage even after this summit, in order to build a network of youth leaders for future. I hope to achieve the same.
And from the host nation, Thailand.
I think that this is very useful, and because the first step is that everybody combine and talk about this, but I really want to see that this is going to be, it is going to be like this, though people are separate, and then they really work on it. They really take their actions on it, just not like think and talk about it, just do and take actions.
The Thailand-based event was co-hosted by Maha Chulalongkorn Ratchawidyalai University, a training ground for young monks, offering a chance for visitors from the region to mingle with dedicated followers of peaceful thought and action. It was all overseen by the university rector, the Most Venerable Pra Tepsapon.
I was I'm amazed when there is a cooperation and connection between them. The religious leaders frankly talk to the youth, and the youth try to ask questions and try to have dialogues with the leader on the first day. So this is the process of the youth, which is who are unexperienced, try to learn something from the experienced leaders, the youth, the religious leaders. And the religious leaders try to pass on knowledge and experience to the enthusiastic people, the youth. So enthusiasm plus experience, that is amazing phenomena here. And besides that, I think this receptive prospect that we found here should be continued.
The biggest group attending the summit was from Japan, representing around 100 youth delegates and senior advisors. Heading the charge for peace was Japan's youngest ever MP from the country's ruling party, Yasuhide Nakayama.
Japanese, all my friends, our country's people think they think now it's a peace, but I think that's stupid. Now the peace time, so we have to talk about the future peace. Especially we have close to our country called North Korea. They might have some nuclear weapons, And Japanese people always think if some problem is close, they really care about that. But the Japanese people, when they care, when we say care about the Iraq problem, they never feel because it's far away. So it's one of the distance problem also they have. So this is a very good opportunity to think our country's people, how we get the peace in the future.
It was now time for the young leaders of Asia and the Pacific to form their action plan for peace. The discussions were long and the subject matter complex and often controversial.
Now, after 9/11, there's a further escalation of the danger to human rights.
And there was advice on hand from people like Thailand's Deputy Prime Minister, Wisana Krungam.
Let us stop, think, and strengthen the bond that exists between youth and us, and to create a medium from which their voices be heard and their decisions accepted and implemented. Joining hands, we together can create a global network of dedicated and considerate youth. Let this opportunity be the inspirational beginning of the future development.
Thailand's former Foreign Minister Surin Pitsuwan offered the wisdom of a poet of Islam.
He said the vendors of all goods are gone. We are the new vendors. This is our bazaar. Meaning, many ideas from the past may have been tested and failed to achieve understanding, peace, and prosperity for all. But those ideas have gone away with those old vendors.
Other leaders added their encouragement.
It is quite clear to me that each nation leader's agenda is obliged and responsible to the survivability and prosperity of his or her country, so much so that national agenda always, I repeat, always overrules any other global agenda. I have watched with heartfelt dismay the scene on television recently when the UN headquarters was attacked. That reality made me wonder out loud, where do we go from here? Kia ora back. Kia ora.
But in the end, the young people made up their own minds. A special action group was formed for the Pacific.
Well, I think that first and foremost, we're not part of Asia. We're part of the Pacific, and I think that that's a concern that we have, that we're treated as a separate region amongst ourselves, as the Pacific peoples and Pacific youth, Pacific region, separate and distinct from, but at the same time coexisting with Asia. Second thing is that there are distinct challenges that are facing Pacific peoples. Some of those challenges have presented very special circumstances, and my brothers and sisters will talk about that soon. For example, with climate change and sea level rising, the rising sea level, and the impact that those challenges have had on our countries.
Well, the main concern really is the environment. As a collective group, we have tried to submit that to the General Assembly, the World Youth Peace Summit. But there's other issues such as free trade, which is something this General Assembly has continuously spoken of, whereas it does not apply to Samoa. We have to look at fair trade because of the inequalities in the technologies. If we are going to walk this road towards world peace, we have to look at the equality of a lot of things, technologies, the equalities, the gender issue. So environment at most important. I'd also like to comment on free, yes, but fair trade.
I came here as a representative of Solomon Island Christian Association. I work in the desk that represent every youth in the Solomon Islands. And it's been a great opportunity. We never had this type of chances to come and join this type of meetings, and it's a great opportunity. I will grasp as much as possible to go back and share it among our youths in the Solomon Islands.
Then the rest of them.
Another action group was established for South Asia.
He is on the advisory board.
To attain peace, we need to involve each person from every sphere of life, because violence and conflict it's a cause of multiple factors. For example, economic inequality, religion, politicization of that same conflict. So you need to work at every angle, and so for this you need to have each kind of person involved to give their inputs so we can find the way out.
I'm from Sri Lanka, and my name is Rasagala Sivali Thero, and for me, peace is to live with peace with myself and with others, and also to have we have the ability to travel anywhere without any fear or any trouble. So we feel that we are accepted everywhere. That is, I think, the basic idea of my idea of peace.
And then a formula for peace was established for Asia and the Pacific youth to take to the World Summit in Kenya. It outlined awareness raising through a special website, events and products, the enhancement of youth participation in forums, the media and special events, the building and maintaining of youth networks, the use of existing skills and resources, and peace education, and finally a strong individual commitment to respect others and teach by example.
I am positive when I meet so many amazing young people, especially the leaders that are gathered here today. Each of them bring to this gathering so much energy, so much positive thoughts, success stories, projects from the ground, which they are already engaged. We need to support them, give them moral, financial, technical support so that they can go more, do more, much more on the ground. And those little projects all over the world will add up to the global campaign which we want to achieve, but we need to work together. No man is an island. We need each other's help, each other's support to be able to succeed in a combined unilateral effort towards peace and sustainability.
It's so easy to say, thank you very much, kopumakap, or terimakashi, or something like that, arigato. But it is very challenging for us to implement the vision into a reality.
We want to see how the youth leaders of today who are entrusted with this responsibility are going to show to the political leadership, show to our elders that indeed there is a different form of leadership that's inherent in our youth. Indeed, they are committed to the global good and they're going to work collectively towards that. Do that. That to us will be the greatest accomplishment when we see specific outcomes and specific initiatives. We are here to service you. We are here to support you. I assure you of that. Come up with a practical approach and we will always be there. I assure you of that.
This had been both a time to make new friends and make a difference. These are the region's leaders of tomorrow, young people who believe that cooperation, conversation and creativity are key to understanding and accepting all our differences. Young people who truly believe that there is a chance for the world to live in peace.